Hi, I'm Dawn Olson, and I'm a bariatric nutritionist for Dr. Clark's Center for Weight Loss Success in Newport News, Virginia. This quick and easy low-carb meals demonstration was recorded at the September 2017 Surgical Support Group meeting here at CFWLS. Did everybody pick up some of the handouts? There's a little recipe booklet as well as there's a menu planner just already filled out, as well as some menu planners that are blank. That is the template that's located on the membership site. It's also on our Pinterest page and in the website. So you can always download extra copies. I think there's a couple other handouts back there. There's one on tips for low carb eating, as well as low carb substitutions in baking and cooking. So I encourage you to pick those up and take a look at them a little later. We're going to make, actually I've made several things already just to save kind of time here tonight, but we'll be actually demonstrating two different dishes. The ones that we've made already, there's an appetizer, tapenade. It's just basically green olives, black olives, and a little garlic pulsed together in a food processor, dumped into a bowl. The little bread squares that are over there are some of the new product that we have in the store. It's a brown protein bread. It's actually very tasty. The slices look really thin, but they're dense. There's 3 slices in a package, and each one has 15 grams of protein, and I think it's 6 effective carbs for the package. So it's pretty good. So I encourage you to try that. The salad is basically spinach. It's got chicken and goat cheese. Well, actually, I've got feta in front of it instead of the goat cheese. You can use either one actually in this. But I put it in front since not everybody likes feta. But there's chicken and avocados, cherry tomatoes, and a little bit of roasted corn in there. And there's a light vinaigrette dressing on it. The soup that we have tonight is a lasagna soup. It is a tomato base. It uses some of the Proti pasta from the store. Protein count on that is really nice as well. The carbs are fairly low. So you can put cheese on that, and I put the Parmesan cheese in front of it to sprinkle on top of that. The next dish that you're going to be trying is it's a lettuce wrap, kind of like the P.F. Chang's lettuce wraps, if you're familiar with those. The chicken mixture is shiitake mushrooms, chicken, soy sauce, water chestnuts, some onions, and garlic, pretty much. And then that'll be served with rice cauliflower. If you've not tried that, it is actually very, very good. I did bring some soy sauce, some low sodium soy sauce if you want to add that, but there is some in the chicken mixture already. The first dish that I'm actually going to be demonstrating is a Tuscan chicken skillet. When I do this at home, I make it in an actual cast iron skillet on top of the stove and then pop it in the oven for the last few minutes. But for lack of a kitchen, we're going to do it in an electric skillet, hope for the best. I've prepped most of my ingredients already. I'm kind of a messy prepper, I guess, so I had to do this in my kitchen rather than mess up the classroom. But we're going to go ahead and start. I think it's getting hot. I can smell it already. So this one, basically just going to start with a little olive oil, and most people measure this. I think it does say 2 tablespoons. That's probably pretty close to 2 tablespoons. I've also pre-cooked the chicken. Raw chicken didn't sound like a good idea for here tonight either, so I pre-cooked that. But I'm going to go ahead and start adding after the chicken breasts, because those would normally be taken out after they brown. I'm going to brown the onions first. Who likes the smell of browning onions? Most people do. It's my favorite part of going to Home Depot. Just walking out going, food. Turn that down a little bit. I had it set to 350, that seems a little bit high. All right, now I've got some garlic here that I pre-measured as well. I think almost all the recipes tonight have garlic in it. I like garlic. If anyone's allergic to garlic, I apologize. But It's one of those things that doesn't really add carbs or calories, but it adds a lot of flavor to your dishes. All right. Sun-dried tomatoes. And chicken in there. This is gonna have to heat up a little bit because it came out of the refrigerator. Most of the dishes that are in your book tonight are less than $4 a serving, and that's a standard serving, not necessarily how much you can eat, but they're all economical. As far as the ingredients, I walked through the dollar store the other day because I was looking for birthday party type stuff, but I'm amazed at what they've got back in their refrigerator and freezer sections. The little package of feta cheese, same brand that was in Farm Fresh for $3. I got it for $1 at the dollar store. The expiration dates are all fine. They've got most of the frozen vegetables. They've even got the little packets in the freezer section of the like shrimp and salmon, and they're a nice little portion, probably sufficient. They've got chicken, they had pork chops, they had a little, some kind of cut of steak.
I picked up a couple of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I buy those things from Dollar Tree.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with them. A lot of them are name brand. They have sour cream and cottage cheese and all those other things as well. So it's a place that we often overlook, but can probably pick up some good deals. As far as canned goods, you might still be able to do better in a grocery store, because very often those things will be like 79 cents or 89 cents or whatever. But if you normally pay more than $1 for it, it's worth looking at the discount stores.
And I buy the almonds and peanuts from the Dollar Tree. They have Planters peanuts.
Oh, okay.
And the almonds, they're just $1.
Yeah, excellent. That's very good to know. I didn't look in the nut section. I did look for pine nuts, and of course they didn't have those. Pine nuts have gotten ridiculously expensive. I don't know what part of the country they grow in, but they are no longer a bargain.
What was that red that you put in there? I think that's the sun-dried tomato.
Yes, I put in sun-dried tomatoes. I'm going to put in
Cranberries.
oh, sorry. And I'm probably not going in order because I didn't really stack these in the right order, I guess. These I drained at home and I chopped them up. They normally come, generally there's like 2 large roasted red peppers in there, and they need to be diced. So I did that at home. The same with the black beans. I rinsed and drained them. So, and this is just kind of a one-dish meal. It's just a dump and stir, and then at the end, you top it with cheese. You can either cover it if you're using an electric skillet, or you can put it under the broiler and let it get a little browned. For some reason, I was thinking there was tomatoes in this, but there's not, is there? Just sun-dried tomatoes. And artichokes. I love artichokes. I do put them in a lot of things too. They're low carb, and they also add kind of a little salty, briny flavor, much like capers. I used the frozen artichokes tonight, but there's nothing wrong with a little marinated artichokes either. I would drain those definitely because of all the extra oil and calories in those, but you can definitely substitute one for the other. All right, what have I got left? Parmesan cheese and my seasonings. I went ahead and measured out all my seasonings and put them in a little container to make it a little bit easier here. Also to make sure that they get kind of evenly distributed.
And I know you said you cooked the chicken ahead of time. Did you dice the chicken?
I did, yes. And actually, if I was gonna make this at home, I probably wouldn't. I would just start with the 4 chicken breasts and brown those and just leave them whole.
Okay.
So for serving purposes tonight, it was just easier to dice it.
And you don't find like it doesn't get overcooked, like, cause you're cooking the chicken first, right?
Yes, but there's enough moisture in most of the other ingredients that it just kind of, it simmers, I guess you'd say. When I brown it, it may not be completely cooked through at first, and when you add the rest of it, it should eventually finish cooking and cook through. Okay. Well, I wish I had a mirror so you could see what this looks like. It's quite colorful. The artichokes aren't quite as green as I would like them to be, but canned and frozen vegetables usually do lose a little bit of their color. So if you used fresh and kind of blanched them, you'd have a little more colorful vegetable. I'm gonna let this go ahead and simmer. I'm gonna put the Parmesan cheese on top and let that finish heating through. Okay, this has gone a lot faster than I thought it was gonna go. So I'm either talking too fast or,
I think we all wish we had someone to do all our prep for us.
yeah,
That
I
would be great. You just
chopped
came
for an
home
hour and a
it was
half
all
today.
done.
Wow.
It took a little longer than I expected it to. But, no. All right, the next dish I'm gonna do is a shrimp scampi. It's very, very simple. It doesn't take much time at all to put together. And also gonna be done in a skillet. This one, actually, I'm gonna start with butter on this one. But we're going to go ahead and use this little gadget over here on the side. And it is a spiralizer. I don't know if anybody has one. This one is one of the old ones, so it's rather large. But they now sell the little thing that looks like a pencil sharpener at TJ Maxx. It's only about $5, and it gets much smaller. So I'll do the first one, and then somebody else can do the other two. But basically, I cut the ends off the zucchini, and I'm not sure that this is actually going to show up in the video. Is it in the
No.
window? It's not in the window.
There you
Better?
go.
There we
Your
go.
spoons are blocking it a little bit.
All right, we can move those.
There you go.
My girlfriend made the little apron with the logo, and she made a little utensil holder too, so it was kind of fun. But really, you just stick it in here. There's some little blades, they're interchangeable, so you can cut different ribbon sizes or whatever. But it's fairly simple. Well, at least I hope it works. It's going to send the spiraled vegetable out the other side. Let me move this too. Probably the hardest part is to make sure that you've got your container sitting on the other side so that it doesn't all get away from you. The zucchini noodles are extremely low carb. They cook really fast, so it's one of those things where you don't want to start too soon. I don't remember this being quite so noisy either. It's all plastic, so it doesn't need any oiling, but, all right. Now you could do like a yellow squash as well, just to give it a little different color. And I've even, shredded some carrot to give it more of a tricolor look. It works. Carrots take a little bit longer to cook, so you'll want to put them in the pan first. So the butter's melting. Whoops. No, that one's not going on the front. Gadgets don't always work as well as they're demonstrated on TV. Do you have any favorite gadgets at home? Anybody want to share?
My Vitamix.
Oh, your Vitamix, yeah.
I
I've
have
been
a
into kind
Vitamix
of this,
too.
some of the, yeah.
I also bought an electric spiralizer.
Ooh, they make electric ones?
Yes,
Cool.
that's very nice.
Yeah. Doesn't make muscles, but
True.
I'm not sure how much exercise this counts for anyway, but. Almost done there. I'm just making a little bit of a mess, but not too bad. just start with this. That might be enough. You'll notice that the core comes out. That's kind of the pithy part anyway, so it's up to you whether you cook that or not, but. I sent my husband after vegetables. He came home with one of these. This is probably too big for that little gadget. So, all right. And I measured out the shrimp. It calls for 10 ounces of shrimp. This is a pound of shrimp, and it still doesn't look like very much. I probably should have gone with the smaller shrimp, but these are quite large. So they'll take a little bit longer to cook. Not quite hot enough yet. The butter's about melted, but it needs to be a little bit hotter. I start with the shrimp, and when they're just starting to turn pink, that's when you add the zucchini noodles because they don't take very long to cook. I'm going to go ahead and throw the garlic in at the same time. This. All right. Once again, I like garlic. I'm not going to put this whole thing in there because not everybody likes that much. But I have a little spoon here. I guess knife. So that's probably sufficient. It's probably the equivalent of about 3 cloves. A lot of people will actually go ahead and press their own garlic. I use a lot of it, so I buy the either the already peeled whole cloves, or I'll buy the minced, already done, and it's just easy. I don't find that there's that much of a difference in taste. So once again, I make enough of a mess the way it is. So if I can avoid a little bit here and there, that's probably a good bet. All right, that's good. Dump the shrimp in. Plug it directly into the wall. Okay, it's starting to turn pink. It's not turning as fast as I'd like it to, but if nothing else, I'll dump that one into a bowl and keep this in there. Nothing? No, that's an HDMI. Of course, that one. Okay, we're in the store. The store always has things to do. All right. Well, it's starting to turn opaque, but it's cooking very, very slowly. So. I just checked to make sure it got warm. I didn't get it all the way hot today, so that's my mistake. So go ahead and do this one. You ever had a house full of company and something doesn't work? That never happens to me. I remember one year I made a turkey for Thanksgiving, of course. And one of the kind of gourmet tricks is that when it's done, you put it in a big cooler that's lined with aluminum foil. Well, apparently my little temperature gauge thing wasn't in the right place in the turkey because it wasn't done, and even 4 hours later in the cooler it wasn't done. So I don't remember what we ate that year, but it wasn't turkey. That always happens when you have company too. That's not cooking very fast.
When did you get your electric,
Spiralizer,
yes?
QVC.
I wanted it on the time, but I must have missed that one.
It was Wolfgang Puck.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So if you search Wolfgang Puck on QVC.com,
Okay.
he has a spiralizer and it has a container and the spiralizer sits vertically on top of it, so you press down,
Oh,
and
neat.
it spiralizes it directly into the container.
Oh, okay,
And then the container has a lid, so if you don't use it all, you can just refrigerate it.
great.
That sounds great. Very, very good. Well, I bought this years ago, so I'm sure that the
QVC.
new models are much improved upon. All right, well, I was hoping Danny would be back with a extension cord. In the meantime, I think I'm going to consider putting that in a different
I have a
bowl.
thought. You could try plugging it directly into the orange plug and not using the strip at all and see if
That
that
might
works.
work. Very good, Dot. Okay, well, I got a light now.
Oh, that's promising.
There we go. My light is lit up.
Good.
We're not finding.
Okay, well, this should start cooking
We
now.
have lots of computers.
Because that's what we do here. Okay. You should start to hear it sizzle here pretty soon. Maybe I'll put the cover on it. No, watch it so closely. Has anyone tried taking one of their family favorite recipes and converting it? No. What do you do with those family favorite recipes?
Don't make them.
I don't think my husband's had a home cooked meal in like 2 months, so.
Oh, my.
We haven't done anything.
Okay. A lot of those recipes can be modified. So if you have one that you'd really like to see if we can fix, bring it in. I'll take a look at it or email it to me. That's easy enough. Just type it out and I'll try to return it complete with the nutritional breakdown and I'll probably make it and then if it turns out good, we'll see it on the blog post. But there are things that I make that don't end up on the blog post for whatever reason. Sometimes the picture doesn't turn out, but sometimes the recipe is just lacking something, so. Very often I start with a recipe that looks good or a picture that looks good on the website of some sort and kind of play with it and work it from there. We've got heat now. This is a good thing. All right. Anybody not like shrimp? Is anybody allergic to seafood or shellfish? That's good. It's nice to have a variety. I mean, so often when we think low carb, it's all chicken, chicken, chicken. It doesn't have to be. Beef, you know, certain cuts of beef, certain cuts of pork, they're all fine. Any of the shellfish are usually okay. The lighter fishes, all good too. Salmon's great. I mean, there's really no one type of protein that can't be made to work. All right, now I'm gonna turn this down. Oh, we got lots of beef. I wonder if this doesn't have a short in it. Or is it just cutting it out? All right. So this is pretty easy. These will cook down. It looks like a mess at first, but they soften up and start to cook pretty quickly. Does everybody here use dried herbs or fresh herbs or a combination of whatever? Combination, yeah. In the winter, sometimes the herbs don't look so good, so I tend to use dried. I'll use dried for convenience sake if it's raining or the backyard's too muddy. But I do like fresh herbs. There's nothing better than the smell of some fresh herbs.
I have a question. You said
Uh-huh.
there are certain cuts of beef that are good.
Tenderloin is generally very low in fat. Some of you can take a look at a piece of meat, and if there's a lot of marbling in it, it's going to be higher in calories. It's not going to have any carbohydrates in it unless it's processed. So things like bacon and ham, certain hams and whatnot, they will have some carbohydrates in just because of what they've been injected with. But for the most part, your meat doesn't have any carbohydrates at all. What's gonna make the biggest difference is the calories. So, not that fat is necessarily a bad thing, but you're gonna wanna portion down at that point. You'll find even certain fishes, like salmon, is a little fattier than regular fish. So it'll be a little higher in calories as well, but it's definitely a good source of protein. It's nice to have a mixture of different things. So, any questions on proteins, carbohydrates, whatever?
Cream soups.
Mhm.
Coming into the fall and winter, it's one of my favorites.
Right.
And I like
Cream
them-
soups are typically thickened with a starch.
Yeah.
You can thicken with cream, it's going to add calories. But you can try things like coconut flour or almond flour.
Okay.
If you're gonna use the almond flour to thicken things, make sure that it's a real fine grind. Costco has a nice one right now. It's extremely fine. It almost feels like regular flour, where a lot of times you'll find the red mill that I use is a coarser grind, and it's not good for thickening things, but it's great for coating things.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm gonna dredge like something, an egg and then a crumb mixture, instead of the crumb mixture, which would typically be, like a breading, I will use either ground nuts or I'll use the almond meal, and it gives it a crispy crunch. There's a slightly nutty flavor to it, but it's not overpowering or anything, so that can be a nice option. And it does work in baking. It depends on what you're gonna make. If you're making some sort of like a muffin, the coarser grind works fine. But if you're making something that you want a finer texture to, you're gonna wanna use the fine one. Coconut flour is extremely fine. It's almost the texture of, powdered sugar or extremely fine flour. But it also has a nice little taste to it. It doesn't taste exactly like flour, but it's generally fairly interchangeable.
Hey, I never shop online as far as buying groceries. Where do you go for online groceries?
I love Kroger's new click list. It's awesome. You start with your grocery list. If you've started with a menu, I'd suggest starting with a menu plan, and then picking out your recipes, figuring out what you need. Go ahead and put it on a list, and then you can go on like Kroger.com. I know Walmart has it as well. I think Farm Fresh does too. I mean, most of the grocery stores now seem to have the online ordering thing, but with Kroger, you pull into their parking lot, you dial the number on your little receipt, and they bring it to your car. You spend 5 minutes at the grocery store. It's awesome. I don't forget, well, I shouldn't say I don't forget things. This morning I forgot the water chestnuts, but anyway. For the most part, I don't forget as much. I don't do impulse buying. I mean, they have those end caps loaded with stuff that, oh, that looks good. Don't eat it. Didn't even know I wanted it, but now I do. So.
Is it extra for that service?
Kroger's is $4 or $4.95. I'm not sure if Walmart charges or not. Farm Fresh will actually deliver it, but I think their charge for delivery is like $10. But if you're stuck at home or don't want to get out, that's an option. I don't know what it is to pick up there. Now, our Farm Fresh anyway, you have to go in and pick it up. Where I really like the park in the parking lot and they bring it to my car thing.
I think Harris Teeter does it too.
Probably.
And a lot of times, most of them do, the first time is free. And they run special, like Harris Teeter all the time will run a special, like if you spend so much, it's free. And they have like a little drive-through and they just bring it out and load it
Excellent.
in your car.
Can you still coupons too?
Yes.
Yeah. And they'll call you, like, so if you ordered, something that was on sale and they don't have that brand, they'll substitute another brand for you, but they'll call you and be like, is this okay if you want this brand or that
Yeah.
brand? So they'll even pick out your produce and I'll specify, like, I want 4 green bananas and 4 yellow bananas, and they'll
Right.
pick them out for you.
Yeah, and I asked for a ripe avocado tonight and it was perfect. So, yeah. So if you're not good at picking out your own produce, that might be the answer. All right. this is done.
Is there a minimum amount of groceries you have to purchase to do that?
No, no, minimum.
It's not like at $50 or something.
No, and like she mentioned, my first one was free. And then just recently, they sent me an email that said my next 3 were free. So that was pretty cool. Plus then I get my gas points and all that other kind of stuff. So the nice thing about some of these online ones too is there are actually coupons that are just for the online shoppers. And you just go through the little list of coupons and pick out what you want. So you can just apply those to your account. The nice thing is I know sometimes my husband will go with me to the grocery store if he wants to pick up something special, but he doesn't really look at prices, nor does he look at the difference between organic and non-organic, and sometimes it really doesn't matter. So we end up with an apple that costs $2.99 as opposed to one where I could have gotten 2 for 99 cents. But anyway, if you go through your list and you've chosen the ones that are 2 for 99, that's what you're gonna get. Because their employees do it better. So anyway, but it saves an amazing amount of time. I normally spend about an hour in a grocery store, and I don't anymore. Now I can shop at home in my pajamas with my coffee, and they'll deliver it to my car. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get this ready to serve, but we can go ahead and get in line or whatever here. This is a little watery. I think it would normally boil out, but I don't want to cook the shrimp any harder than they are. So, let's see. Come off of this. And that has melted nicely. Cooking low carb doesn't have to be boring. You'll find more of our great recipes on the membership site, in our blog post, or on Pinterest at CFWLSVA. And we hope you enjoy. Thanks.